Good morning, it's the Jacinto Trail Report from up here at Jacinto Peak. It's Saturday the 6th of April 2024, and it's possible that this is the last of these post-storm reports for a while, judging by the forecast. A little bit more on that in a moment. Quick pan around. We had fresh snow yesterday. Started with some light snow in the morning, which I did a hike to check on that. It was sort of two or 3 inches in the morning, including in town in Idlewild, and then looked like it had brightened up and was pretty much done. And then we had some fairly dramatic growlpool from some thunder cells that came over in the late afternoon. So we've added up to about 5 inches of new snow here, minus some melting in the intervening days. We're stable at around 60 inches, 5 feet. Total accumulation up here now is about, what would that be, about 116 for the year, for the entire winter, 116 inches. Obviously we're at a lot less than that because we're only at about half of that because of melting between storms. To give you an idea, this time last year we were probably about another 2 to 3 feet higher than that. These trees here were barely visible last year. That tallest one, there was just a few inches of the tip visible this time last year. Also of interest is that on 20th of January this year, we were at only total of accumulation of 16 inches at Jacinto Peak. So we've added basically 100 inches in the last 2.5 months. So it's been a late winter, but it's added up. I had about 3 inches of fresh snow at Humber Park, Devil's Slide Trailhead, about 4 to 4.5 at Saddle Junction. That's 8,100 feet, and likewise at Wellman Divide at about 9,700. So fairly similar all across the mountain, and total accumulation I think was about 3.5 in Idlewild as well. Although a lot of that was melting as fast as it was settling. Looking down on the Desert Divide, the PCT where it comes through, Apache, Spitler, those areas, the section in the sort of 160 to 170 range. The good news is that it did dust. I can see it dusted as low as probably about 4,500 feet, probably not quite as low as was expected. But it is just a dusting, and the most significant news following this storm is that the temperatures are going to rise. They're going to be fairly stable for the next 2 or 3 days, and then they're going to rise dramatically during the course of the second part of this coming week. So within we've currently, the last couple of days, we've been temperatures significantly below average. We will have temperatures far above seasonal for early April by the 8th, 9th, 10th, somewhere in there. And so melting where it's dusted will be really quick. It's also April, so the sun's pretty high, pretty potent. So conditions will change dramatically. As you can probably see, I was in snowshoes. I was able to bare boot up to about 8,000 feet. Which through the growlpool was fairly straightforward. Switched to snowshoes from there and broke trail all the way up to here. I had a fair bit of lateral movement on some of the traversing slopes. Even though it was, with all the drifting, it was 10, 12 inches deep, the fresh snow, it's still pretty hard and icy underneath. That will obviously change with the warming. Once the surface stuff starts to melt off, then the snow underneath will become less icy and will start to just all turn into mush, probably in about a week or 10 days time. By next weekend it's going to be pretty ugly. Ironically might need snowshoes for a different reason then, because it's all soft and squishy. Crampons would have been fine today. coming across on my tracks. You can see to dig in and get a grip on the ice below. That's above about, outside of PCT range, that's above about 9,000 feet. Most of the PCT would be okay with spikes, with a lot of caution. Like I say, the Apache Peak right now, I'd probably come up and over the top rather than around the side, but that may only be for the next few days, the next week or so. It'll probably be largely clear, or at least relatively passable, by April 10th, April 12th, something like that. That doesn't mean there's not a lot of snow to deal with. Fuller ridge, I would still recommend people avoid for the time being. That's going to change again over the next week as it softens up. I'll get out and probably do a video report from there somewhere in the next, not sure, week or 10 days. And otherwise, as you can see, a beautiful bluebird day in the San Jacinto Mountains, and safe hiking, everyone.